So yeah, wow, it's amazing to be here. We're really pleased to welcome you, and just so grateful that you made the time to come in this storm to hear us talk.
Thank you for braving the weather. I drove up from Cupertino. It was pretty crazy to get here.
So do you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah. I'm Karen Saprell. I'm a faculty member at Apple University, and that's an organization that focuses on education for managers and leaders in the company. I've known Wendy for 15 years now, and I was delighted when she asked me to come join you all this evening to talk about her new book. She was my executive coach back in the day. Now I just consider her to be a good friend. And we're going to spend maybe 30, 40 minutes talking about the book, and then we're going to have a little musical interlude, and then we'll open it up for questions from all of you before we go downstairs into the Mercantile at about 7 o'clock. So that's the plan for the evening. Before we dive into the book, though, I want to tell you a little bit more about my friend Wendy. I think this is the Wendy fan club that I may be talking to, but I'm going to read the introduction anyway. Wendy Wallbridge is a strong and vocal advocate for women and gender equity, and she's a catalyst for creating stronger cultures of belonging. She's done that in many Silicon Valley companies, including Apple. She's an entrepreneur, having founded Spiral Up and the Women's Evolutionary Forum of Silicon Valley, and she's also a mom. She adopted her nephew Chase a decade ago when he was 12 years old. Finally, she's the author of Spiraling Upward, which is what we're here to talk about tonight. Yay. And so I want to kick off the conversation by asking Wendy what possessed her to write a new edition now 9 years later, because the original book was published in 2015. So tell us what that's all about.
Thank you. And so thank you so much for being here. And I also want to take a moment to thank everybody that wrote me a Amazon review, and also to Lee in the back. If you just wave, Lee, completely, this was her idea. She and I made this up just talking in the store one day, and she just decided to do it. And so the visionary of her, she runs the Mercantile store, which she's offering a 15% discount for everybody on everything, including the book. So thank you for that, So what made me write this book? There's a lot of things, but I think the thing that's most notable is that since 2015, so much has happened, but the pandemic was the most notable thing. It changed so many things. There's just an enormous amount of change that it created, including the inequities that it exposed and exacerbated. And those systemic inequities we wanted to address in our work. As she said, we're working inside organizations. This book got turned into a women's leadership program at a tech company, and 15 years ago, and it's been going ever since. So quietly along, we've been testing it out and working with people and having it be appropriate. I mean, it really is such a good tool for anybody going through a transition. And so certainly the times that we've been living in call for that. And, I think if you look at the world right now and the incredible, devastating developments, things like the exclusionary laws being passed, the climate warms, the wars rage, the loneliness epidemic, these are the headlines that we see. But right alongside those better publicized headlines are some incredible movement and millions of people working towards things that are positive and that are about social justice and about healing the planet. I mean, we don't hear about it as much, but it is happening. And I think that it really is this thing about, and I write a lot about this in the preface. I hope you'll read that when you get the book. But it's about, when there's a paradox, if you look at it from a different perspective instead of the either or contradiction, because on the one hand, there's all this bad news, and on the other hand, we see the kindness in our neighbors, and we see the possibility and the things that we're all committed to. Everyone in this room is part of this transformational team, the planet's transformational team. So you know what I'm talking about. But when you look at it more closely, you can sort of perceive something bigger that is not either or. And I see this emergence that's happening that's not either or. And it has to do with, when there is a paradox like that, there is this thing that happens where humans can rise to new levels of wholeness and wisdom. And we have risen to new levels of wisdom. When you think about what human beings gave themselves as name, Homo sapien, it means wise human. So we now have the opportunity to really live into that identity and become the wise human that we are. But the thing that's emerging, it's something that I've been pointing to for like my whole career, is this shifting from over-indexing on the masculine drive for prioritization of scale and speed and profit to this emergence of the feminine. And when I say the feminine, you don't have to be a woman to embody it, and not all women do. And it's not owned by any one gender. It is a quality, an archetype that is that sort of is the umbrella term for really connectedness and relationship. So where the shift is this shift to relationship and connectedness. And what I mean about that is that why that ties to the answer to your question is that the courses that we teach in the companies that we work in, the men's course, really the through line is about that. It's about EQ. So that was a long-winded answer, but
no, that's totally. And when you first started working on this, there was just the women's course, and we decided that the men's course was essential because women are not going to be successful in the workplace or face it in our personal lives if we don't have the support of the men around us, right? And so I think that coupling of having something dedicated to the men and now a chapter called Spiral Up for Dudes, which I want you to tell us a little bit about, is sort of the winning combination there.
Yeah, it really is absolutely the reason why I did this book is because, also I need a little water, so maybe Sam's going to get it, thanks.
The reason why you did the new edition, because the preface is also great. You're talking about all the changes in society and this paradox that you just explained, but then the totally new content is the chapter for male allies.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yes. So it's just clear that, without men taking part in partnering with us to bring more equity into the world, that it's frustrating to empower women, give them all the tools to speak up and to do the things that we want them to do and become leaders, and then to have not structural changes enough so that it makes it possible for them to step into leadership roles in a way that's going to be humane for them. So, yeah. Thank you so much. So I'm going to do a little thing right now because you can't come to a Wendy event without doing a little interaction. So it will be painless. If you would just for a moment close your eyes and bring to mind something that you really care about. It could be something like a cause. It could be something like a person. It could be someone alive or not living. It could be an animal. But just bring it to mind, that person, place, or thing, and feel it in your heart, like how you care about that. And then if you would, open your eyes, turn to someone that you don't know, and tell them what you care about and why, and then let them go. Just give each of you like 2 minutes to tell the other person that you don't know what you care about and why. Do it right now.